Hey, what's up everybody? DFS Rico coming at you with my picks and insight for this NBA 5-game slate for DraftKings on Saturday, August 1st. We got a 5-gamer, pretty good slate. Yesterday went pretty solid as well. Hopefully we can continue today. Before I continue though, if you could like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I am using timestamps, so it makes it easier for you guys to scroll through the sections you want to listen to. So let me know what you guys think about that as well. And I do have a Patreon for $10 a month if you guys want to sign up. I only do like GPP slash like leverage pivots videos over there. So I don't really discuss like more cash plays. I do another video and I kind of just get into the slate with ownership and just mainly ownership and stuff like places where you can be different, so you can see where you can take advantage of guys that are going to be lower owned and maybe pivot if you're going to be playing big GPPs off of guys that will be high owned. But yeah, that's really it. But let's get to it. So we got 5 games. I'm just going to go position by position, talk about a couple of the guys that I like, and then fill them in with a nice little core. It's going to be more so for cash plays and smaller GPPs. But some of these guys you can, in basketball, you can kind of just play them in big GPPs as well. It just kind of works out like that because of injuries and stuff. So let's get to it. So point guard up top, we got LeBron James, we got Ben Simmons. Price pretty high. There's some guys that I like to pay up for differently, but I could see them being pretty good plays. Probably be a little more interested in Ben Simmons than LeBron James. Then you got Drew Holiday versus the Clippers in a tough matchup. Didn't look too good in the first game, even with Zion only playing 15 minutes. He really didn't do much, honestly. I think he took 18 shots. He shot 50% from the field, so it wasn't too bad, but could have done a little more. And now he's in a tougher matchup, so I don't know how that'll go. Kyle Lowry at 8K, not something I'm comfortable playing. Lonzo Ball, 7.7. Chris Paul at 7.4 is pretty interesting versus Utah. Good player, good point guard. Has shown us pretty good upside, so I don't mind taking some stabs at him. First guy I am going to talk about though is Donovan Mitchell, point guard slash shooting guard, eligible, 6.9K. Looked very good in that first game with 41 fantasy points. Doesn't get a tougher matchup versus OKC. He's probably going to be defended by like Chris Paul, Shea Alexander. They got some good defenders on that team. They got a good team over there. But so it should be another close game. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, but it'll be a close game, and I do like Donovan Mitchell a pretty good amount. Let me get over to Rotogrange and just show you guys the over-unders. You know, some people like to judge it based on that. Highest scoring game today looks like the New Orleans versus the Clippers, so that one will garner a lot of ownership. I will tell you that right now, so just be careful with that. And then we'll talk about a couple guys in that game that I do like. Scrolling down, you got Shea at 6.8, which isn't a bad price, from a little cheaper than we're used to paying towards the end of last, or whatever you want to call it, towards the end of the season before it resumed again. He was priced over 7K, so he's a little bit underpriced, but he is in a tougher matchup versus Utah, so I do completely understand that. Got to keep an eye on Jamal Murray. He's still questionable. We don't know if he's going to be playing. If he isn't playing, we can pivot over to Monte Morris, which a lot of people probably will do. Have some high ownership. He's really cheap. Schroeder, Van Fleet at 6.2 is pretty interesting. I don't mind him. Mike Conley at 5.4 is like a pivot off of Mitchell if you don't want to play Mitchell. Played really good last game. 6.2K, threw up 31 fantasy points. I could see him doing something like that, and his price dropped to 800. So I could be playing a little bit of Mike Conley if I don't feel like playing Donovan Mitchell. Probably won't pair him in the same lineup, but I think he's a direct pivot off of him and guys like Jordan Clarkson, which I will talk about in a bit. No one else. Reggie Jackson at 4.1 should be interesting. He played 34 minutes in that first game. If Beverly is limited again in a pace-up spot versus New Orleans, I am very interested in him at 4.1K. Better matchup than the Lakers, and he got priced down. And probably the best matchup he could be in versus the Pelicans. Aaron Holiday, we don't know what's going on with Brogdon or Oladipo yet, so we got to keep an eye out on that. They are the last game on the slate, so be careful if you do play any of these guys. Because if Brogdon and Oladipo play, Holiday would kind of just be a waste. But The better play at that price range is still 3.9K Jordan Clarkson. I do like him a good amount. Put up 37 fantasy points, 32 minutes. I assume he plays around 30 minutes again. The only way I could see him really failing is if his shot's not falling or if he gets into some kind of foul trouble. But I'll just take my chances. I think he's my favorite play on the slate as far as, especially because of a value. As far as value, he's my favorite play for sure. McConnell would be a pivot off of him if Brogdon and Oladipo don't play. That'll be a solid pickup. Caruso looked pretty good at 3.3K on when they played Thursday. Played 28 minutes, not too bad. Put up 17 fantasy points, 3.3, not too bad. If he could put up a couple more points against Toronto, which will probably not an easier matchup, but I think that matchup will be a little faster paced than the Clippers one. But yeah, that's it at point guard. Let's go over to the next spot. We got Drew Holiday. I talked about him. Butler at 7.6 versus my Denver will be a tough matchup, so I'm not too interested in him. Mentioned Shea, a little underpriced. Schroeder at 6.6 is about the price tag. Oh, he's a little higher actually. Not too interested in him then. Fred VanVleet, I do like him more than Schroeder anyway, so we know Will Barton's out. Victor Oladipo is still questionable. So like I said, could be good plays there from some of the cheaper guys from Indiana if we find out Oladipo and Brogdon are out. Ingles didn't look too good in that first game, so I'm not really interested in him. Doesn't really have a crazy ceiling. Scrolling down shooting guard, remember Gary Harris is out, so Torrey Craig's probably going to be starting at the shooting guard position. So that'll be a little interesting if you want to take a shot at him at 3K. Myself, I probably won't, but I could see he'll have a decent amount of ownership. JJ Redick looked good in the first game, but I think he only played a decent amount of minutes as well because Zion didn't play that many. If Zion comes in and gets a little more minutes, then it will bump Redick down a little bit. But Clarkson's a guy I'm going to be plugging in at shooting guard. I do really like him tonight, again at 3.9. Let's go. Let's continue scrolling down onto small forward. We got LeBron up top again. Kawhi Leonard at 8.9. Ben Simmons at 8.6. I am interested in Kawhi for 8.9K. His price did come down a little bit in a much easier matchup again against New Orleans. A lot of people will be picking on New Orleans today, and I get it. As long as I can stay close, a lot of these guys, paying up for some of these guys will be kind of interesting. Paul George at 7.9, one of my favorite plays on the slate. 7.9K versus New Orleans. I will be plugging him in a decent amount. Looked very good in that first game. He's fully healthy right now in a pace-up spot. This is the kind of games you want to play Paul George in especially. So I will be playing him. He's one of my core pieces in my lineups for sure. To me, Jimmy Butler, Ingram, and Simmons are all pivots off of Paul George. But I don't know how much of that I'll be doing. TJ Warren will be nice if Brogdon and Oladipo, or either one is out, because we already know Sabonis is out, so that'll be good for him. And Lamb is out as well. Bogdanovich, remember that's why the Utah guys are bumped up, because of the fact that Bogdanovich is out. Royce O'Neal at 4.8, his price came down a little bit, 100. Looked really good in that first game, 30 fantasy points. I could see him doing that again tonight at 4.8. That would be a really solid stat line from him. Kyle Kuzma at 4.3 will be interesting. Looked good in that first game. Tougher matchup with Toronto, but we'll see how that goes. Danny Green. Deion Waiters looked solid in that first game, but he's only going to like 20 minutes. Michael Porter Jr. might see a couple more minutes with Barton out, and if Harris is out, I can see him getting a couple minutes, but I never feel comfortable playing him because every time we think he's going to get more minutes, he doesn't. I think that's it at small forward. Power forward, we got Anthony Davis up top. One of the second highest price guy on the slate. Like I get it, he's in a tough matchup. Probably not get a lot of ownership. So I could see you playing him if you want to be different. Siakam at 8.4. It's not something I feel comfortable paying up for. Ingram is my favorite play from New Orleans if I do play anyone. Has shown us the most upside. He's just really good, and he's priced at a decent price. He's priced cheaper than Drew, and I think I still prefer him. Zion Williamson looks like he is playing when he's going to be on a minutes limit. So I guess Redick is fine. If you want to play a little bit of Redick, I get it. They're going to probably need points to keep up with the Clippers. So I can see that working out. TJ Warren, OG Anunoby. Gallinari at 5.6 is solid versus Utah. Usually that's where I like playing Gallinari, is when he's cheaper than 6K. Especially with everybody healthy, though. I'm not too fond of actually playing a lot of them. Scrolling down. You got Morris. Nothing too interesting here. Jay Crowder was playing a decent amount of minutes at 4.7 before everything happened. He was playing at least 30 minutes. He had that 11-minute game. I'm not sure what happened in that game. But ever since he came over here, he's playing over 30 minutes on average. Looking pretty solid. I could see him being a solid value play. Pivot off of Kuzma because I know Kuzma will be popular. Jeremy Grant at 4.K. I do like him a fairly good amount with Barton out. And Morris and Gary Harris out, you would think he starts as a small forward position. I would think he comes in at the small forward position and gets a solid amount of minutes, probably 28 plus minutes at 4K. I feel comfortable paying that for him. Shown us really solid upside when he's getting the run. So I do like him versus Miami. I think they'll need him out there for his defense as well. I think that's really it. Yeah. So at the power forward position, I think I could just see me plugging in Anthony Davis. I mean, I still got so much salary left. I mean, without Anthony Davis, you're at 6.2. Or if you don't want to play Paul George, you could play Kawhi, and that'll give you a little less money. But with the value plays today, it's going to be really easy to pay up for some of these guys. Anthony Davis. Then at center, I mean, you got Joel Embiid up top. You could pay up for him. You got Jokic at 9K. You got Sabonis out. Bam Adebayo 8.1 in a tough matchup versus Denver, but he is, we all know that kind of ceiling Jokic and Bam Adebayo have. They have 50 plus point upside, so I don't have it 60 plus point upside for both of them. So I don't mind taking stabs at them. You got Gobert. Ibaka was playing a ton of minutes before everything went down. 37, 36 in the last two games. Put up 49 and 40 fantasy points, and that was with Gasol in the lineup, so I do like him. Then you got Miles Turner at 6.2. Really solid, 36, 33, 35 minutes. He's going to get a good bump with Sabonis out. I assume he gets a ton of minutes. I do like him. Has a high ceiling. So I am going to be plugging in Miles Turner at 6.2. Very interested in him. Scrolling down. Zubac is a value, but I don't think he played that many minutes. He only played 15 minutes in that first game. Probably don't need him much in this game either since it's going to be pretty fast-paced. Gasol at 4.5. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's really it that I would really want to talk about on this slate. Nothing too crazy. There's only 5 games, so it's nothing too interesting. So this is my core. Kind of go a lot of directions. You could go a little cheaper and pay up for somebody else, or you could just kind of pay down on all the next 3 guys, honestly, and be pretty solid. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at early on. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.